Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am back with another review. This review is for the Real Housewives of Atlanta season 15 episode 7. So if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you know every time I upload a new video. Let's just get right into this review because there was a lot of drama that went down in this episode. So at the very beginning of this episode, Sheree and Sonya end up having a conversation about all the drama that went down at Courtney's event in the previous episode. Now, at the end of the previous episode, everybody shows up to Courtney's event to support. And when Kandi gets there, she immediately confronts Marlo about the rumors she heard that, Marlo was spreading about her to the other ladies. She heard this information from Drew and Kenya because those are her friends. And they basically told her that Marlo is trying to connect her to the passing of her nephew. And this pisses Kandi off, obviously, because she feels like this doesn't have anything to do with her or her businesses. And so she pulls Marlo to the side and they have this conversation. Now, they start yelling back and forth. Basically, Kandi was yelling because she was pissed off at the fact that she's being connected to something that doesn't have anything to do with her. And she basically feels like Marlo is just trying to smear her name to everybody, which I believe that's what she's trying to do too, because I honestly feel like if Marlo had an issue with the way that Kandi handled things when it came to her nephew's passing, she should have dealt with it 3 years ago when it happened, not now, trying to connect Kandi to something that had nothing to do with her. And so they're arguing back and forth. Kandi starts yelling, saying that she wants to choke Marlo, but she can't. And so Kandi ends up leaving and Marlo ends up staying inside crying because she was called aggressive. And so Sonya and Sheree seem to be more so on Marlo's side in this particular situation. Actually, they seem to have a huge issue with the fact that, Kenya, Monyetta, and Drew all left when Kandi left. But I don't think that it's a big deal that they left when Kandi did, because at the end of the day, they're friends with Kandi, not Marlo. And everybody who was left at the event were more so friends with Marlo, and they were all comforting her and kind of against Kandi. So I can understand why they left. Now, Sonya is trying to say that she feels like Drew and Kenya brought back the wrong information to Kandi because the information that they brought back to Kandi is not what Marlo told her. So I feel like Sonya is including herself in this, and she shouldn't, because it's going to end up backfiring on her. Because at the end of the day, she has a separate friendship with both Marlo and Kandi, but it seems like she's more so on Marlo's side, and I feel like she would be better off staying out of it. But that's not what she's going to do. And so she says that she's going to meet up with Kandi at some point in this episode to talk about the situation. And Sheree says that she's going to throw an event because she wants to get all the ladies together so that they can talk about their issues. Now, Sonya does end up meeting up with Kandi in this episode, and she basically tries to defend Marlo by telling Kandi that she shouldn't believe the information that Kenya and Drew brought back to her about what Marlo was saying about her, because she feels like they're not telling the truth about what Marlo said, because when she had a conversation with Marlo about the whole situation, Marlo told her something completely different. And listen, I feel like Sonya should stay out of it. She's looking like a fool right now because she doesn't know if Marlo's lying to her about what she was saying, because at the end of the day, nobody was there when Drew and Marlo had that back and forth with each other about Kandi. And also, Sonya wasn't there for the phone conversation between Kenya and Kandi when she told her about this drama. So I just feel like Sonya needs to stay out of it, because now she's getting the side eye from Kandi. And Kandi lets her know during this conversation, listen, I'm about to stop hanging out with you because you seem like you straddle the fence all the time. And that's true. It does seem like Sonya straddles the fence. It seems like she wants to be accepted into certain groups. She wants to be the one that's liked by everybody. And so she wants to get in where she could fit in. And that's the reason why she's trying to go so hard for Marlo. And I just don't understand why she's doing that. And then on top of that, Kandi gets really emotional during this conversation with Sonya because she feels like Sonya is trying to downplay what Marlo's trying to do to her. And she also said that she's not a sentimental friend. Ever since her brother passed away when she was younger, she is not a sentimental person. She is not the friend who's going to sit and cry with you. That's just not who she is. And I feel like people should accept that. I feel like everybody's different and everybody handles certain situations differently. The way that one person may grieve somebody's death is not the same way another person would. And sometimes you just have a friend that you don't cry with. Kandi's not the friend that you cry with. Kandi's the friend that you talk about motivating things with, the person you talk about business with, the person you can go out to eat with and talk and have a good time that way. She's not the type of friend who's going to sit and cry and hold you. That's just not the friend that she is. I feel like she gave condolences the best way that she knows how, and I feel like Marlo should let it go. So it's the day of Sheree's Gucci brunch, and she's trying to be strategic about the way that she places the seating, okay? Because she has to make sure that people who don't like each other are not within arm's length, because if they're within arm's length, there's going to be some hitting going on, and so she has to make sure that does not happen. Now, there is immediate awkwardness at the table once everybody sits down, because obviously everything's still fresh. It has not been that long since Marlo and Kandi got into it pretty bad at Courtney's event. Now, Sheree tries to break the ice because she sees that there's tension, and she gets emotional when she's talking to the lady. She's trying to tell them that they need to come together and stop tearing each other down and work on their issues. And listen, I was not buying Sheree's fake tears, because Sheree is one of the messiest ones on this show. And last season, she was talking a lot of shit about Kandi with Marlo, and so she contributed to the reason why things are the way they are between Kandi and Marlo. So I don't understand why she's at this table getting emotional. But some of the people that were there were able to work their differences out a little bit or agree to move forward. Courtney and Kandi ended up being able to say that they were going to move forward and trying to become friends. And, Kenya and Sonya had a conversation and they kind of cleared things up a little bit. But once it was time to get things cleared up between Marlo and Kandi, that's when things went left. Now, the reason why this conversation between Kandi and Marlo goes left is because Marlo calls herself genuine, and that's when Kandi gets pissed off and tells Marlo that she's not genuine because she's trying to connect her to her nephew's passing when it doesn't have anything to do with her. Now, Marlo tried to say that that was never what she was trying to do, but that when Drew brought up the incident that took place at Kandi's restaurant, it triggered her because of what happened to her own nephew, and that's the reason why all of this came about. Now, Kandi was not buying it, and she basically was saying that Marlo is trying to use her nephew's passing to get sympathy, and that she's trying to make her look bad by trying to tarnish her character on the show. And listen, I completely agree with that. I feel like Marlo doesn't have a storyline, so she's trying to use her nephew's passing as one, and she's trying to use it to change people's opinions on her. That's what she does with her nephews anyway. She tries to make us see her in a different light because she takes care of her nephews, and I still don't see her in a different light. I feel like she has a bad character, and I really just don't like Marlo. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to say she's right when she's right, but I'm just not really feeling Marlo this season. I feel like she's doing too much when it comes to this whole Kandi situation, and she ends up storming off from the table because Kenya just would not shut up and let her talk to Kandi. Kandi was annoyed anyway. Kandi really didn't want to listen to anything that Marlo had to say anyway, so Kenya running her mouth at the table and not shutting up really didn't affect Kandi because she didn't want to talk to Marlo anyway. But Marlo ends up storming off, and Sheree has to go after her to bring her back inside. And listen, it was just a whole hot mess, and the conversation literally didn't get anywhere. And Sonya and Kandi kind of got into it a little bit because Sonya tried to jump in and try to basically defend Marlo, and that's when Kandi told Sonya to cut it out. So those are my thoughts on this week's episode of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button for me. I appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos and hit the notification bell so that you know every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much to everyone who has subscribed to my channel. I appreciate you all. And until next time, I will talk to you guys in my next video.